Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter when you may catch this particular broadcast. Alta V. Spells are here, your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. And this is the discussion that you have been having with your uncles, your aunts. This is the discussion that you've been having with your good girlfriends, with a glass of wine, some of you. We definitely understand, but it's time for us to have this discussion about business during COVID. And I wanted to bring this topic to you because the big names are talking about this topic. The people that are 6 and 7 figures, they're talking about this topic, 8 figures, 10 figures, but their perspective is completely different than that of people who are just getting started. It's completely different than the people who are who've been in business less than 10 years. And so we're going to dive into this topic because I see that there are so many people who have been frustrated by this year. There are so many people who have been who have decided, is this the year that they close their doors? Is this the year that they're no longer going to go forward? And I wanted to make sure that this particular discussion that we're going to have today is going to be one that pushes you to press play. For those of you that do not know, all week long, I've been doing a series called Press Play. And the Press Play series is one that has been encouraging men, women all over the world to press play and end the year strong. Here's the thing. People are frustrated. We get it. But it does not mean that things have stopped moving. Opportunities are still opening up. I've still been speaking throughout this year. I've still been publishing books this year. I've still been working with clients this year. And the significance of that is because as an entrepreneur, I'm not at this 10-figure level, but I see the frustration. From the beginning of the year, I've literally had conversations with business owners who've had major contracts end. I've talked to business owners who've had to shut their physical doors, brick and mortars that they put blood, sweat, and tears into. And so ultimately, the biggest discussion, the biggest question is, how do I press play in order for me to do business during COVID? Now, this discussion may not be one for you, and that's okay. We appreciate you. But somebody you know may have been struggling this year. Somebody you know may have been literally trying to climb their way out of what felt like a pit all year long. And here it is on one of the busiest shopping seasons, the busiest times of the year. There are a lot of questions that entrepreneurs have that they're not getting an answer for. So with that being said, we're here for you. So if you have questions, by all means, post them down below, because we'll be answering some of those questions this morning. And also some business owners will be coming in to kind of give you some insight into what doing business during COVID really looked like for them. I'm talking about making collaborations with big name organizations. I'm talking about speaking on international platforms and still saying yes to pressing play in life and in business. That part. Now, if you're catching this via the replay, I appreciate you. Make sure that you go and you put below where you're catching it from so I can come back and talk to you directly. I want to thank you for being here and being a part of the conversation. And also, if you want to take the conversation further, join us over on Facebook, bit.ly/World Voice Community is how you join the free Facebook group. We would love to have your input. So first things first, I am going to start with one of the questions that was posed to me during this year that I posted in the free Facebook group. And that is, can small businesses survive another shutdown? We going in with a heavy hitter, y'all. And you tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below as well. Do you think that small businesses can survive another shutdown? We're currently in the midst of it's like from state to state. It's not completely nationally mandated, but state to state, there are some restrictions that are being put in place. Do you feel like we can survive another shutdown? So here's the response to that. It's all about the community. Listen, now tap in. I hope y'all listening. During this time, the small businesses that you saw that were able to not only survive but thrive, they made community alliances with their clients and with other business owners. And so the ones that you saw that did not survive, they had no support during this time. I'm telling you from experience. I watched one of the bookstores, shout out to the Palette and the Page bookstore in Elkton, Maryland, connect with Brookbend and some of these other stores on the same block. And they did some great marketing for each other. They were shouting each other out on social media. They were coming together and finding ways that they could still move forward in this time. And guess what? Not one of those businesses closed. Did you hear me? Not one of those businesses closed. See, it's the part about community that really stands out. It's the community for me. It's the part about community that really stands out. And so it is. They did things. And some of you may have seen these in some of your small communities. I don't know if we saw it as much in the bigger cities, but in the smaller cities, you saw this where they went and they section off sections in the street for businesses to have chairs and tables, restaurants to have chairs and tables for people to be able to come and eat and social distance. They did so many different things, and I saw them come together as a community. See, we talk about building communities because, the hip thing, right? The end thing is to build a Facebook community, right? It's to build a LinkedIn community, or attempt to, because LinkedIn is a little, yeah, it's a lot going on there. But it's to build a community of people coming together that have one thing that they, talk about, one thing that they appreciate, one thing that they love. But the reality is, and you got to think about this, because Facebook did a really great job with this. When it came to giving us a platform to build community, there are Facebook groups that have expanded way beyond the basic idea of a community, to the point where they've come together and they've supported people. They've financially supported people. There are small businesses coming together in Facebook group communities and building their own scholarships and grants. There are people like, these are the things that are happening, but it comes from community. Can I tell you something? We've had a twisted idea of what community is. Very much twisted. We don't think we forgot about reciprocity. We forgot about communication. We forgot what support looked like. But it was clear that the ones that did not forget, are the ones that did not just survive, but they thrived. So building community is the way that small business owners can do business during COVID. What other people in your industry and outside of your industry are you collaborating with? Are you supporting? Are you connecting with? Are you even highlighting? Listen, this year, more than ever, I went and stepped it up to feature small businesses globally on the Our Voice Matters platform and the Speak Easy podcast platform, literally talking about entrepreneurs from all over who work, let's have exactly what it is that you need. But we gave them a platform. Why? Because it was about support. It was about building community. And so that is that first one. Can small businesses survive another shutdown? They most definitely can. I'm gonna tell you one thing that really stood out for me, and shout out to the Sport Cafe. Um, during the shutdown, I had to go to the post office. My sister was sending out some packages. She started her business and her brand, and I was super excited. And so she had some things to send off. And so we go to the post office, and Sport Cafe in Elkton, Maryland. A gentleman walks in. And he comes in. Now, first of all, y'all know most people would get frustrated if somebody come in and they like kind of walk over to the people behind behind the counter. Uh, but he came in and he said, "How many people do you have working here?" So everybody's on high alert at this point, right? But he said, "We want to provide you with lunch and thank you for your service." Now, me being me, y'all know I snapped a little quick pic and I shouted him out on social media because I said, "That's excellent. That's amazing." Not because we don't, because, oh, they needed the shout out, or not because they needed it, but it was because they were caught doing something and there wasn't a video of them doing it. They were caught doing something because it was about the community. See, the restaurant that I'm speaking of is maybe about 2 blocks away from the post office. See, it's about coming together. See, but this is the thing with social media, you're right down the block from me. With social media, you're right down the street from me. So, how can we support each other? Is the question that I always ask. How can I serve you? Some of you have been struggling this year, and it's because you feel as though you have no support. How can I support you? If you don't want to answer it in the comments, by all means, I understand. You can message me on whatever platform you're seeing this on and let me know. Because oftentimes, what it is that you need is right in front of you. So that was the first question. Woo, y'all better come on. As we wait for some of these, for the panelists to come in, I still got a couple more questions for you and some higher questions. I hope y'all are ready. This is the other one. So number 2, how do I market in the midst of the pandemic? Now, this is the thing. So when we think about marketing is just conversations that create sales. That's all marketing is. It's a conversation. So one of the things that people fail to realize is that we've gotten so attached to marketing being a flyer, marketing being an email. We've gotten so attached to that we forget to build the conversation. One of the significant things that has been really fire this year is building conversations, going into different communities online, virtual meetups, things of that nature, and create the conversation. Lead them back to you. Storytelling is at an all-time high. Okay. If you are, even if you're not a speaker, people often think, oh, well, Storytelling is just for speakers when they get on stage. No, storytelling is for anybody who wants to convey a message that connects with the audience. Storytelling, I'll say it again, storytelling is for any person that wants to connect with an audience. And so when you have that understanding, now I'm really deliberate about the conversations I'm having. Come on. Good morning, Deborah. I see you, sis. I'm really deliberate about the conversations that I'm having. I'm really deliberate about who it is that I'm talking to and how I'm reaching out to them. I'm more deliberate about what emails I'm actually opening up and responding to. I'm not, no tea, no shade. But some of you, and shout out to Brian J. Olds. Something he posted earlier this week was some of y'all are missing millions of dollars in your inbox and your emails simply because you're not messaging people back. You're not responding to emails in a timely fashion. I get it. I understand. Overwhelm is real. As a business owner, being overwhelmed is real. Good morning, Karen. How are you, sis? Being overwhelmed is so real. But here's the thing. And I get this again. I've had 6 and 7 figure business owners on my podcast. I've had these conversations off camera. I've had these conversations off air, and the same things are being asked and responded to by people in all levels of this industry. They are all levels, y'all, all levels. And so you have to understand that you are not alone in this. You're not alone in how you feel. Come on, look, come on. You're not alone in how you feel. You're not alone in what you've been asking. You're not alone in how you've been thinking. And so you're not alone. The difference comes in is if you're ready to press play. So what I did was this previous week, I had a whole series. It was called Press Play. We went through this whole thing and motivating people, encouraging them. Why? Because guess what? It's time for you to stop. No excuses. We can end the year strong. Come on. Okay. We can end the year strong. But here's the thing. It's all about who's speaking in your ear and who's showing up in your line of vision, because not everybody's going to encourage you to try to finish strong. Some people are going to encourage you to quit. Some people are going to encourage you to give up, but you don't have to give up. This is not a year where you have to give up. This is not a year where everything has to be the end for you. And so when I think about marketing, people don't like sales. Let's be honest. They don't like marketing. They don't like being salesy. Everybody goes back in their heads to the carpet cleaner salesman, the Kirby man that was or woman. I don't think I've ever seen a woman selling Kirby's, but man or woman who, is going door to door selling, listen, selling those carpet cleaners that could clean everything and made you feel like a germaphobe after they were done. But the reality is that that's one part of sales. But sales is just those conversations. And so this week I had to tell people and encourage them. Some things that you missing, you need to leave the table. You need to go back and make sure that you're pursuing big things. We were having the conversations that matter. But then I put it together. I put a workbook together, and then I have a special bonus for those who get the pre-order of it. So if you go to bit.ly/WVL press play, you can not only get the audio replays, so that way you can listen to them whenever you like, but you can also get a copy of the ebook, and there is a bonus that's coming as well, where we're going to dive in, and you're going to end this year strong. It comes out next week on Friday, because I said enough is enough. You can end those last 3 weeks strong. You can end them last 4 weeks strong. It's about you. Good morning, Tracy. Listen, I'd have to have this understanding. And so I've been that person. I've been in a business where I was putting out more money than what I was bringing in. I've been in conversations that didn't lead to me actually gaining money. I've been on stages where I made nothing, where I put out over $1,000 and made nothing. Come on. So I'm not telling you something that I read or something that I heard. No, I'm telling you from experience. It sometimes it looks as grim as it can be, and an opportunity opens up. So marketing, you just got to get back to having those clear conversations. You got to get back to pressing play. And that's what this workbook is all about, because we had to get past the mental piece of it. We had to get past the false expectations. Whew. We had to get past some things in order for us to be able to say, I can finish the year strong. For you, it may be just speaking on one stage before the end of the year. You can do it. For you, it may be writing the book and publishing it before the end of the year. You can do it. And the only thing that is holding you back, the only thing that is holding you back is you. So that marketing piece, oh man, it just starts with the conversation. I think that was one of the big pieces I learned about networking too, is because it starts with the conversation. And so when I started with the conversation, and I'm not worried about handing out 500 business cards, it takes it to a whole nother level. So I have one of my panelists coming in, Miss Stephanie Roche. Great
Good
morning,
morning.
sis. Woo!
This is boom. Jump in, huh? Boom.
Listen, we are going in. But this is the thing. I've seen so many people struggle this year, and I said, enough is enough. We need to come on Small Business Saturday. We need to talk about the real stuff, but not
Okay.
only that, we need to motivate people.
Well, I'm ready.
Yes. So, Stephanie, let everybody know who you are, a little bit about yourself, and also what you're offering this Small Business Saturday.
Well, I am Stephanie Rochelle of Stephanie Rochelle Consulting. And what I do is help women get unstuck. After trauma and loss, literally, I've talked to woman after woman, and a lot of us are just stuck. Loss of self, we're due to disappointment and unmet expectations, we get stuck. But I'm here to challenge you to say, what's next for you? Because you see, years ago, that's what I asked God, and when I tell you, He delivered. Of course, like we know, more than what I was expecting, it went above and beyond of what I've ever even wanted to do. Okay, a little bit about me. I was married almost nearly 30 years to my high school sweetheart. Got divorced. Let me back up. During that time of being married, we had our firstborn son. We ended up losing him to a brain tumor, cancer, devastated. So there was nobody that I knew that had been through losing a child before that could help me get through this time. So it was just me and God. It was just me and God. How in the world do I get up and go to work every day after such a loss, such a great loss? Fast forward, then after my grandmother prayed every day for us to have that next child. And I said, I just can't do it. There is nobody that can guarantee me this is not going to happen again. So I come to before you today. If I can take that leap of faith, if I can trust God, if I can move forward, because you see, our life is already predetermined. He knew that was going to happen to me. He knew I was going to get divorced. He knew I was going to be scared to have my next child after losing a son to a terminal illness. He knew all of this. And I like to say that my daughter is now 22 and she's perfectly fine. But that was a leap that I had to overcome fear in order to move forward and do that. So when I sit here and tell you, before you stands a lady that has moved forward regardless of the odds. I was determined. I was determined to win. And that's what I help other women do after whatever you've been through. It doesn't matter. The steps are the same. It doesn't matter. So what I did was I wrote a book called A Cracked Egg. And we are all literally cracked eggs until we rebuild our life from the inside out. Until we rebuild our life from the inside out, not just move on from relationship to relationship, not just move on in life, not really living the life of your dreams. We are all a cracked egg. And I'm not even taking credit for that title. God gave me the title for the book as well. I would have never thought of that. But when you move in what he tells you to move in, it just, you'll never imagine what it could be. This book literally was the beginning of a legacy blueprint for me and my family. It started with the book. Then I began speaking. And here's the thing, guys, I'm shy. Yep. I'm real good one-on-one behind the scenes, but this book launched me forward, which I needed to come out of the shadows. Who else needs to come out of the shadows? A lot of us women, we have books inside of us, we have businesses inside of us that we just keep putting on the back burner because we're moms, we're doing our thing, we have a good job, but we know that God has called us to do more. Years ago, I asked God to stretch me, and boy, did he stretch me. So like I said, I went from the book to speaking to a coaching business. And really and truly, guys, I've been a coach for years before I wanted, before it was a thing, before I wanted to call myself a coach. I'm also a realtor, a real estate agent. And I started out coaching in that. When I went through my divorce, my pastor friend said, Steph, I need your help. I need you to speak to the ladies that have been married a long time and don't know what to do now that they're getting separated or going through a divorce. Just tell them whatever you did because I've never seen anybody do it like you. I was like, I could do that. I could do that. Again, it was behind the scenes, behind the shadows, so it kind of fit, right? But that speaking launched me forward because it was more women that God wanted me to serve, bottom line. And again, like I said, you guys know if there's something that God has told you to do, and I'm gonna tell you, you're not gonna leave this world until you do it. So you might as well just get started doing it. Because I knew, like I said years ago, I was supposed to write this book. I knew it. So we're gonna start out this not Black Friday, it's this Saturday morning special with a cracked egg. You can get it from my website, and I guess I don't know if we can pin it here or not, but it's www dash dot re dash defining self.com. Defining self.com. Because literally that's what I did when I rebuilt my life from the inside out. I literally, people that knew me then, they were like, who are you? I'm like, new and improved. I emerged new. And when God rebuilds your life from the inside out, you do. You emerge new. So we're gonna the book, and just go to my website. I have Black Friday specials there. I challenge you to start with get the book, but I challenge you to start with a discovery session so we can talk about what it is that you want to do moving forward. And these are Black Friday, Saturday, Cyber Monday specials, and then they're gone. So this is to make you guys move, stop playing small. It's time to play big. It's time to win.
Ooh, that part. And when we talk about, it being time to win, so something that I want you to let people know is that this is not Stephanie's only business.
Right.
There is other things that Stephanie does when it comes to business. So some of you are like, well, I work a job and I have a side hustle. So do I let go of the side hustle in this time? And that has been a fear of a lot of people this year. Do I let go of the side hustle? And my answer is you got to do some reflection. And I know, Stephanie, for you, this has definitely been a year of reflection because the main job didn't stop. The real estate part didn't stop. Matter of fact, it started getting even better. It boomed in this season. And so how do you create and have that thought process in your head to say, all right, I'm doing good, and this looks good. Oh, this feels comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that this is where I'm purposed to be.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing for me is I love to help people. Okay, let me back up. Computer programmer for over 30 years. I solve problems every day. And really and truly, guys, that's how I was able to create a strategy, a life strategy to win after everything that I went through. So real estate is my first love. I can do that in my sleep, It gives me everything that I need, right? Because I'm helping people and they're happy and I'm happy. And then they bring me their cousin, their mother, their friend, and they know what they say about me in real estate is that, Steph, we know we can trust you. It ain't about just making a sale, it's about building relationships. So that's how it all started. So when God pushed me to the forefront with being a coach and a speaker, a mentor, and helping others in this way, it didn't feel good at first. Did not feel good at first. But here's the thing, when you know that he assigned it, he assigned you to do that. When you know he anointed you to do that, even though you were shy, even though you didn't want to do it, even though you don't like going live, you still have to move forward and do it, guys. Because what is it going to do? That thing that I told you I asked God about years ago, I asked him to stretch me. It's going to do just that. Stretch you. And we all need to be stretched in order to come into fruition of who it is that we are destined to be. It's just no way around it. So I stand before you, that shy computer programmer, now helping others, helping women. That's who I help on a bigger scale, more than I ever would have imagined. And now that's my new sweet spot. And how I juggle the two, because like I said, real estate is booming right now. It's a seller's market, but everybody is buying houses right now. It's time to win, Nikisha. It's time to win. So, like I said, my legacy blueprint out of just helping people, which is what I love to do. He took the two things that I love to do, help people, real estate, coaching, speaking, and helping them birth their stories. Or listen, my story, my skill became my business. All of those three together made me who I am today from my story. So that's why Altavis is doing this. Unmuted is what she talks about. It's time to speak up, ladies. What is it that you know that God has called you to do?
That part is so significant. I know, when we think about it, that has literally been the internal struggle for a lot of people this year is, do I still go out on this ledge and do my side hustle? Do I still attempt to do great things, or do I just stay where it's comfortable? And the thing about it is, the place where it was comfortable this year, them doors were shutting in
He
your
pushed you out of your comfort zone. He pushed you out, which is what he did to me before I started doing this. You know, I had the cushy job. Well, let me take back. I knew it was going to be ending, right? Because I was a contractor. But I figured I would be like on down the line, one of the last ones to go. Because, I was doing my due. I was good at what I did, guys. I solved problems every day. But you know how everything works together for your good. When they say all things, all things. But here's the thing, I had grew into this person after my divorce of making sure I win. So when it came my time to go, I wasn't even worried. I went to the next job, right? But that job was designed to birth my purpose. People around me, everybody, it just started happening without me even realizing it was happening. I met a lady. That's who I got my first speaking gig from. I told her I wrote a book. She said, "Oh, you should come speak at my church." The first place I spoke was Hopewell Baptist Church. I wasn't trying to be no speaker. I was trying to write this book and get God off my back. That's what I promise you. I was being obedient to the call. Like, okay, God, I'm gonna write the book. Dang. I promise you. He kept putting authors around me. And I'm competitive. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. These are like my tennis teammates. Like, why I can't do this? Mm. He will make you do it, guys. Stop playing small. I'm telling you, I was playing small. He pushed me out. He threw me out, Tracy.
All the way out.
And all the way out.
That part this year, and even when I think about over the last few years, man, it was just a couple of years ago that I left my full-time job to do my business full-time. And it was scary then, because this is years before COVID. This is years before we didn't know. Nobody knew January 1st. Nobody knew that COVID would have such an impact that it has had this year.
Exactly. Like nobody saw this coming. And so that's why multiple streams of income. How do you not think about that right now?
Exactly.
How do you not do that right now? Real estate, the book, coaching program. I mean, it just bam,
Listen, that's it. You got to learn to press that play button, and we
gotta press
can't
play.
hold back. So that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love, being able to bring these conversations to people, because that's what we've been lacking. That's what we've been missing, is
Yes.
we've been missing the real conversations. Let's be honest. There's a lot of people, and I sent out an email yesterday. Everybody was sending out their Black Friday emails, and I said, no fluff, just action. Because this has been a year where it was either the action that you took, the action that you didn't take, or the action that you wish you would have taken.
Yes.
No fluff. It was all about action this year.
No
And so,
fluff.
Stephanie, what was one big step that you took this year during COVID that you saw like a real big shift in your business?
When I began believing in myself, that was a shift because it's scary. It's scary, right, guys? That's the whole thing, fear. But look, every time I attacked fear head on, I won. And people look at me crazy when I say that I won after losing my son. But that was a story that God gave me. And what I saw my son go through, guys, he would not want me to just be in the bed depressed and oh my God, my woe is me. No, no, all he wanted to do was live. So how dare I not live? That was the beginning of, come on, Steph. Come on, Steph. You can do this. You got something to give to the people. It's a hospital full of sick children, if you don't know, because I didn't know until I went through it. Hospital full, guys, of sick children. The parents needed my help. How did I do it? Now, not every child is going to die because mine did. But I am that hope and support for that parent that they can get through what they don't even have. We have no control over it. When your child is sick, you can get through if you're sick. But when your child is sick, totally different. Totally different. So all of these experiences that I had made me who I am today. And I promise you, when we work together, we are going to sit down and put a plan in place so that you can win. Bottom line, that's what you're going to do. It's time to press play, as Alta V said. No excuses.
No excuses. No
No
excuses.
excuses.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love this discussion. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming on and sharing with everybody.
Thanks for
Make sure that
having
you
me.
go back. Look, make sure you go back in the comments. I know some of them would love to like high five you and talk to you, because that's what it's been for them. Some of them have dealt with, and this is the thing, a lot of times we deal with things in silence. So we're
Yeah.
not telling people that we have a sick child. We're not telling people that we're going through, something at the house, or, something in our relationships. And so we think that we have to have this facade, and we
Yes.
got to have this mask on in order for us to do business. And it's time for us to remove the mask so that way we can live at our highest level.
Well, let me say this. Everything that I went through was to help you guys. Everything that you went through is to help somebody else. I didn't like my story either, but my story is my story. And the first time I spoke is when I realized my story was needed. So I'm just here to tell you whatever it is, it's needed. It's needed. You have everything you need to bring it forward.
Whew, Stephanie, let them know again how they can check out your deals that you have going on for this weekend, or how they can reach out to be able to get on the phone with you.
Okay. You can definitely reach out to me, guys. I love to hear from you. And today I'm giving out my phone number because I just think it's easier. And that is 678-435-2701. Text me, say you saw me on this broadcast, so I know where you learned out about me, and then I will reach back out to you. Okay, so text me first, and then I will reach back out to you. 678-435-2701. 8701. And go to my website. My Black Friday deals are there, and they end on Monday night. www.re-defining self. It's behind me. re-definingself.com. And I challenge you to go ahead and book a discovery session, and let's start there. All right. And actually, come on over on Instagram at Stephanie Rochelle Consulting. You can see me there. Thank you. I'm
I
pleased.
love it. I love it. Thank you so much again, Stephanie. I appreciate you, sis. You have an amazing and safe weekend.
You guys too.
Guys, this is what the conversation is for. It's so that way we can elevate to another level, right? So, because you are here, you're getting all this information, but there may be somebody that you know needs it. Make sure that you tag them either below or share this out so that way they can get the information too. Because guess what? Each one can reach one. And I know that for me, I've been really big on it being, connecting with the one person, supporting the one person, because you never know how much of an impact that's going to lead to and how many other people it's going to spread to. That part, we talked about community and support, and we talked about, pressing play in your life, in your business. And so I'm bringing on people who have stories just like yours. Some of them have, just started. Some of them have been doing this for a while, but it's stories just like yours, because we want to see you grow. We want to see you move to a whole new level. That part, right? That part. I have some more people coming in. I have my next guest who I see in the waiting room, so I'll be bringing them in shortly. Guys, when we think about doing business during COVID, this has been a scary time for a lot of people, simply because we don't know how, we don't know what the end result is going to be. We don't know what's going to come about from this discussion, or we don't know what's going to happen. And if we tune into one thing, it's telling us all negative. If we tune into something else, it's telling us a whole bunch of positives, but we don't know if which one is which. And so it makes it really difficult for us to keep our heads together, when it comes to this particular um, year in business. I see you guys doing some phenomenal things. I see you guys moving and shaking. But then I see a lot more other people who they've kind of sheltered back. They've kind of pulled back, and they're not going full force because they're like, oh, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if what they're telling me is right. I don't know if I'm going to turn into an alien after after I get the vaccine. There's so many different things that get thrown out into the world. But one of the things that's really significant that I love about my next guest that's coming on, Tiara, is you got to stay focused and you got to be deliberate about where you spend. And I say spend really, 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 really. I'm emphasizing that word, spend your time, your money, and your energy. Something that Tiara always talks about is being fit for service. And oftentimes we forget what that really entails, because being fit for service means that I'm not only fit physically in my body. It's not saying that I have to have a six pack, but I have to be in a position to be the best that I can be. I have to be in a position to be able to speak and create and stand on stages and be able to breathe while I'm talking and things of that nature. I have to be fit for service. If I'm not fit for service, then I am doing a disservice to people. And so I think we're just going to, I don't know if we're just going to do audio or audio and visual, but Miss Tiara, Miss Tiara, are you ready, ma'am? Let's see. I don't know. Y'all know technology do what it want. We shall see. Hey, there she is. How are you this
Can you
morning,
hear me good?
sis? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm good. Good morning. Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
My name is
Well,
Tiara.
first, thank you.
I am a
Oh,
sorry.
oh, no, you're good. Thank you. And I was going to say, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
All right. Well, my name is Tiara. I am a well sought after, highly paid fitness professional. That is something that I tell myself every day, regardless of what it looks like. Regardless of what's going on, regardless of trials and tribulations in business, that is what I tell myself. And the reason why I say that, okay, let me give a little bit of background about myself. I am a certified personal trainer and group fitness instructor. I am a mother of three amazing kids. I started my journey in fitness all my life. Like all my life, I kind of had a theme of fitness, which kind of started off a little backwards. My grandfather was just like, he took health to the next level. He was concerned about health. He was intentional about his health and staying healthy, even as he aged. So that is something that kind of just like spilled over onto me. But as I grew, you know how your family just they love to be great, right? And they'll tell you, based off your genetics, who you're going to look like, right? So it was a lot of that kind of between the merging of the two sparked a passion in fitness for me. I dibbled and dabbled in it, cheerleader, all that kind of stuff, but it really didn't take my life. I didn't really take it seriously in my life until I had my daughter, who is now 6. I had a very I had a high risk pregnancy, but it wasn't only high risk physically; it was high risk emotionally. I dealt with a lot of emotional stress and physical stress during that pregnancy. So once I delivered, I had the stress didn't stop after delivery. It went on through the whole pregnancy and through delivery, physically and emotionally, physically, mentally, and emotionally. After I had my daughter, I had a cesarean. Then I had to go back and have emergency surgery after that, which almost cost me my life. So, by the grace and the mercy of God, I survived that because I'm going to be here with you guys today. And the depression set in. I had severe postpartum depression. I started breaking out in hives, but I was just in go mode. I was honestly by that time still a single parent, and I had a child who was getting ready to graduate high school, one who's going into middle school, and I had a newborn. So I was just in go mode. I was just surviving and just getting through life, but didn't know until I started breaking out in hives that I was, my doctor was like, "You're doing too much." He was like, "You haven't even had time to rest. You haven't had time to recover." He was like, "I'm going to take you back out of work," and I was like, "I can't do that." So he wanted to put me on. He put me on medicine, right? And this is how doctors do. This is why you always got to pay attention. So he was telling me that I am suffering from postpartum depression. And I was like you know how you hear like people saying like they're a functioning addict. I was like one of those people who was like a functional depressive. And I didn't really know that I was. I just thought like, at night when I couldn't sleep or I was always up or just up and down, it was because I had a newborn, right? So he put me on a medication that was not only to treat the hives, but was also an antidepressant. And I couldn't take the medicine because it would knock me out. And as this, again, I had a newborn and I was nursing. So I was like, okay, this is what he said. I was like, I'm not going to receive that this is going to be my life, but I understand I have to do something different. So the different that I decided to do was take back my personal health. So I started doing research. I started figuring out how can I take back my health naturally. And that's what I did. So I stepped up, of course, Coach Altavis, sorry, I'm with the nicknames, pushed me a little, just a little bit, was like, okay, you need to go ahead and get this certification. And that's what I did. And in the midst of that, doing research on holistic ways to be able to battle depression. And that's what I did. So I had to learn about journaling. I had to learn about meditation. I had to learn about aromatherapy. And then, of course, definitely exercise, which is one of the key components of that. And being a part of this community has helped me see, like, I am surrounded by a bunch of amazing people, amazing women who get up time after time and share their story, and they are able to just do what they do. Like, I have such an appreciation for orators and educators and stuff, and like when they're speaking, and I'm like, y'all do such amazing work. Like, y'all are trusted to speak life into people, and in part of that speaking life into people, you have to be fit for that service. You have to be fit for that call. It doesn't mean that you have to be skinny, but you have to be fit for that call. And that kind of being in this community and also being a mom kind of just like merge the two, because it takes a lot to be a parent. You have to be functionally fit. You have to be able to run behind your kids, walk up and down the steps, carry groceries from your car to your house. You have to be in a different, you have to have patience. You have to have peace of mind. You have to have mental stability in order to be a parent. And all those things flow over into the service that you do as a parent. So being fit for service is not just um, to serve other people, but it's also to serve yourself, to serve your higher self. It's all about self care, because you definitely, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. And then also, your service is part of your purpose. It's not, because whatever your purpose, whatever you're called to do, whatever your gifting and your ability is not for you, as Stephanie said. It's for other people. So when people are looking at you, and this case in point, imagine if I was, now I'm going to say this in the sense of relatively speaking, as how people view personal trainers, because I've learned a lot in this industry and I've seen a lot in this industry so far. I haven't been in, I'm not an OG yet, but I've experienced things that have shifted the norm of what you would expect for a fitness professional. So if you would see a personal trainer, you would want to know, like, okay, you're assessing them, like, how can you actually help me? You're looking at their body, you're looking at how they talk, you want to know how they're eating, you want to know their habits. You're kind of interviewing them, and like, I want to know how you can help me. But this is part of my purpose. But if I came to you telling you how to lose weight, how to increase your energy, how to manage your mind, but you saw me overweight, okay, with a frappuccino in my hand, and you saw me just like looking like a like I'm walking with the Walmart pants on and a baggy tee, and just kind of looking, my countenance is down, my hair is unkept, and you're like, I I hear you, but you're not really in a position to coach me on this. So being fit for service and stepping into your purpose is owning your story and leveling yourself up to the point where you care enough about you that overflows into other people. Because in order for us to serve you, or for you to serve people, you got to get your mind off of you. You got to get the times when you don't feel like it. Um, you don't feel like writing that paper. You don't feel like editing that book. You don't feel like starting that business. That story that's on the inside of you never goes away. So when you get outside of you and you begin to step into your purpose and step into how you're going to serve people, you still have to be fit for that. You have to be mentally, emotionally, and physically fit for that. You have to be able to stand on stage. Heck, if you're sitting down doing a book signing, okay, you still have to be able to sit for a few hours signing those books. Your breathing has to be in order. Your energy has to be sustained. It's not just about losing weight. It's just not, and just especially in this pandemic, how life has completely shifted, where you had to go back into being creative, where you had to go back into tapping into you. Everything that we knew to be normal has changed. So that's a little bit about me and my journey and how I got started.
Oh my goodness. So you dropped so many gems, but the fact that you said everything has changed, was really significant. I thank you for being so transparent about your story because, again, this is the other side of business that people don't discuss. It's the fact that we still have real lives. It's the fact that we're still moms, we're still dads, we're still wives and husbands, we're still having things to do. And this year, more than ever, we went from just doing business and trying to live life to doing business, living life, and homeschooling. That part. So there's always going to be these changes and shifts that happen in business and in life. And when we talk about doing business during COVID, that's something that we really, people didn't know how to keep moving, in the midst of it all. So listening to your story, I think is definitely going to encourage a lot of people to keep moving in spite of what we see. Because guess what we see is subject to change. That part is so important. It's subject to change, and it can change in an instant. So now for you, what was a significant conversation, that kept you moving this year?
um, oh, trying to remember one significant conversation. I've had a few, but one that stood out is one that I had with my son. Um, as I was making the preparations to, make sure I had the equipment that I needed, that, learning how the camera spacing and the shifting and things of that nature, he was on board with it. And when he said that he was considering being a personal trainer, that's something that he wanted to do, or he literally sat down and came and had a conversation with me, and we talked about his path. And he was like, I think I want to do, personal trainer. He's like, but I want to do sports. So he was like, we were having a conversation about, um, in the collegiate level and the professional level, what the steps that he would have to take. And that made me make the decision. I told him, I was like, well, you don't have to wait to start now. I'll still be 18, so I was like, you can go ahead and get certified. And because of course he's in sports, so playing football, he loves working out. And me being able to be there with him and like and doing workouts together with him, and him understanding his body and how exercise affects him when he's working out with me, and also when he's working out with the team, to be bringing that more of like awareness. I think it was that made him make the decision to kind of want to know more about it differently. And so after we had that conversation, it kind of moved me in this sense. It's like, okay, we can do this. Like, not that I can't do this by myself, but I was like, we can do this. So I went ahead and, got the LLC, and I was like, okay, like once I can actually bring him on in business when he's ready. And it allowed me to give him a different frame of mind, that you don't have to wait to do what you want to do. So, like, if I because he wants, sorry, I had a brain fart. If he wants to get in the field, in the realm of personal training, to kind of get that experience as a conditioning coach, he doesn't have to wait until he finishes to agree to do it. He can start on it now. And what that showed me in shifting in this online space is that it opened me up to investigating the different areas and the different ways to bring in revenue in the fitness industry outside of the one-on-ones, coaching somebody in their phase, being at a gym. That conversation shifted my mind and opened it up to the possibilities on how I could move if I didn't stay in the waiting room, like if I moved outside of the wait. Does that make sense?
That made a lot of sense. I think business owners, entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, CEOs, I need y'all to tune in on that one. So here it is. We're in the middle of a pandemic that closed gyms. It shut down fitness programs. It shifted, conversations when it came to what does fitness really look like for me. And in the middle of that, in the middle of all of this, she was able to have a powerful conversation about legacy, because that's what that was. That's just, I'm not just doing this business for me now, I'm doing this business for us. Oh, when you said that, I was just like, I was so excited about that one, because it goes beyond what's being taught in coaching. It goes beyond what's being talked about by entrepreneurs. Like, we talk about wanting to start a business so that way we can pay for them to go to school, or starting the business so that way we can buy them what we want to buy them. But think about it in the sense of you starting a business to create an opportunity that would not have been there before. Like, we become the teachers and trainers as entrepreneurs. This is what you do. When things like this happen and it shifts, creativity steps in. Those opportunities open up. And so that was really significant. Y'all, I know y'all was listen, I know I don't even see y'all reactions. And I know y'all in the comments like, ooh, she just changed something for me. What conversation do I need to have with my children this year so that we can all finish strong? So it's not just me finishing strong now. It's we're finishing strong. And I think that is a whole other piece of it that's been missing. And this year, that literally changes everything. Because guess what? We can do some phenomenal things, but we can't do it unless we know that the opportunities are there. So I'm excited about that. Go ahead, sis. So, Tiara, let them know where they can find you online, and how they can reach out to you if they're saying, you know what, I want to be a personal trainer, or I want to take some classes. I want to, I don't want the COVID-19 to be the 19 pounds that I gained during this time.
That's hilarious. If y'all did gain y'all 19 pounds during the pandemic, don't even stress. Just do life. Don't stress about the weight that's gonna come, because that can come off. If you on Instagram, I am Tiara at on IG at Tiara Shawnee. So it's Tiara.Shawnee, which is SHAWNEE. If you want to connect with me, I'm gonna take a page out of Stephanie's book. You can sure text me at 302-481-9016. Just text me where you saw, and I can reach back out to you. And then from that point, we can set up a clarity call. I will send you the information for you to get on my schedule for that. Thank you, Stephanie. That is absolutely phenomenal, and it is so simple to do it that way. And that number is a text only number, so you can go ahead and text if you have questions. that you want, or you need a little bit more insight or direction, you definitely can text me at that number. Again, it's 302-481-9016, and I will get back to you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you again, Tiara, for joining us this morning. I appreciate you.
You are
Woo!
welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
You have a good one, sis.
You bye.
Guys, listen, did you hear that? We are changing. This is about changing legacies. This is about shifting the status quo. Doing business during COVID, for some, looked like closing their doors. For some, it looked like less customers coming into their store. It looked like less people um, buying their products and services. It looked like transitioning from being a person that drives up to people's home and drops stuff off to somebody who is delivering it from their own home or from a PO box. It looks different, but I'm excited about bringing on my next guest, because when I tell you business looks different, some of you may think of the regular day to day when it comes to selling a product or a service. But my next guest that's coming on is an advocate for women in domestic violence. And her name is Dorothea Robinson. I've watched her do some shifts in this season that have really opened up opportunities for her. And we talked about, doing business during COVID. Part of that has been, am I having the right conversations and showing up in the right rooms, right? And for some of you, you're like, but the rooms are closed. No, no, no. The rooms did not close. The rooms went virtual. And so I'm significantly excited about this, because not only did she do she shifted and made a huge shift with doing meetups and connecting with people online, but she also did something on one of the social media platforms that is starting to go viral. So I am all here for it. Miss Thea, are you ready, ma'am?
Can you hear me?
I
I'm
sure
in the car. Can you
can.
hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So, one, thank you for the opportunity. Two, you have me en route going to a place where I just recently was able to link up with some other people, and I want to talk about that for a few minutes. Even though we were shut down during COVID, um, more opportunity came for conversation we had at the table. So I am literally en route to meet some younger folks, some youth, to have some discussions that every Saturday, give or take about every Saturday, where I allow the kids have their conversations heard. And what that does for me is closes to where the youth are. But let me digress. Let me back. Um, because I'm an advocate for women who are in intimate partner abuse relationships, uh, also known as domestic violence, the calls that come, I've had to really, really shift. But what I learned about myself is the business. I'm not going to go into detail about exactly what I do, the planning, scheduling, the no sleep, all of those things that I was doing. I had to do something different. I had to make a change. I had to make a shift because I'm only one person. So yes, I have a team for um, to do my posts. I have a team to do my scheduling. I have a team for those types of things. That's great. But for me to effectively serve the community that I serve, the women who call, to serve their children, and to serve their pets, to get them safe, it would be better if I trained advocates to do what it is that I do and have them go out and the reach would be bigger, right? Instead of the one or two or 10 in a short amount of period and all the calls that I get, wouldn't it be better to train advocates, even if they're starting from the bottom and just reaching their, their pinnacle of, okay, they're ready to go out, to be able to be boots on the ground? Wouldn't it be better to train 10, 20, and then their reach is much greater? So that's part of that taking that cape off, thinking that I can do it all by myself, and I can't. I can't. So I've stepped into my new position, my new shift, wanting to save more by training more so that they can go save more, if that makes sense. That all came about the summer. Lots of things going on. Nephew committed suicide, and I'm explaining this to you for a reason. Nephew committed suicide, finding his body, having to go and, uh, do the arrangements, then an international rescue, the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and my own personal life at home. Life happens, but you got to keep going. But you got to recognize your strengths, your abilities, what you can do, what you can't do. And the idea of it put in place people and be able to help them, help more people. When you talk about that legacy, even though that may not actually be the legacy with your family, but it is still the outreach that you are pouring into training those who can go out to save more so that they can trade. It's the ripple effect. And this is a wonderful book called The Ripple Effect. You really need to get it because the concept is that your ripples that you create will create more ripples, will create more ripples. That's the legacy. So I had to learn some things, and I also had to put myself in position to be able to get in places where I am uncomfortable, which is sit at that table with people. But I found that if I want to create this legacy that I just spoke about, then I need to position myself in places where it's needed, where I'm relevant. And so that's what I found out that I had to do. Put myself in places where I can have these conversations so that the ripple effect can begin. So what does that look like? Maybe attending a meeting that you don't want, right? Maybe thinking outside the box of places where you know that it would what you do, what needs to happen is going to be most effective. Think outside the box. It's okay to do that and do it afraid. Tiara just talked about you know the physical piece and how you look. Well, I struggled with that myself. How I showed up, um, what it is that I look like. Um, and right now, like I'm in sweat, right? Hair pulled back because I'm about to get on a basketball court with the kids. Just think if I showed up in a skirt and high heels, they're gonna look okay. You're gonna talk to us looking fast. So we gotta know how to flip the script and be flexible and be accessible and be approachable and learn from where you sit. With that being said, I'm going to end here. I've learned a great deal doing during this period of quarantine, the virus. I've lost friends, um, but it's also taught me how to be creative. I understand my strengths more and being able to apply them at the new position of shifting myself to sit at table, shifting myself to be in a room, shifting myself to talk to people. I don't like politics, but however, I find myself placing myself in these places because I know that this is where shifts are going to happen.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you have it.
Oh,
but
you're there.
making myself, positioning myself in order to be most effective. Legacy, although the business that I'm doing now may not necessarily be what my kids want to do, and that's fine. So I'm creating a team for that. But my children watch me, your children watch you, and therefore they'll take the legacy piece of they were authors. Wow, they created a business. Wow, it's that legacy piece. Maybe not necessarily carrying on your specific idea, but carrying on business, carrying on the I can do, carrying on their own dream and seeing it to fruition. So they watch you. So for me, this learning period of I am worthy enough to sit at the table, I am able to create ripple effects by becoming the trainer to train people to reach more people versus the one or two or 10 people that I'm able to reach. Three, my dream is not necessarily my children's dream, but the legacy piece is that they can and they can create their own. And the one thing that I walked away with during all of this shift is that I'm able to shift and it's okay and I'll survive. Um, I think that's all that I have for you. That's my shift of what's going on with me. And I've just learned all of that recently in the last since March is that I'm adaptable and therefore my children are adaptable. The ripple effect, the students that I teach, the trainers that I teach, they're going to adapt so that the ripple effect can continue to happen. No matter what it looked like, you just got to do it afraid, but you can do it. It depends upon how bad you want it. And I want to save women. And I want my children to become business owners in their own right. And I want to be able to shift the minds of people where I'm sitting at the table, not for my views, but for facts. So we can shift. And how about this? No matter how you feel about yourself, this is something else. Thank you, Tara. If you don't think that you're worthy enough, that you don't think you're pretty enough, then who else is going to see that as well? So I literally had to take the time to start. And we had this conversation last week, Coach Stephanie. She's showing us how to put the lashes on. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with doing the grandma challenge and feeling pretty about yourself or feeling handsome about yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you, boo? Is you. It's what's going to make you feel good about you. And we can't look for that from somebody else to tell us or wait for somebody to tell us you look good. I start
Oh
to
my
tell my
goodness.
clients, you
Whew.
look good.
Oh my goodness. I'm sitting here like through the roof right now because I've significantly watched you make some huge changes and shifts. And so when you said you are adaptable, I was like, yes. That's the word right there. That's the word. Because not only have you made that big shift from being the woman helping other women get out of domestic violent relationships, but you've shifted to being the advocate's trainer, to being the person that is going to help advocates to be able to manage what they do and building the business. And then you did something that was even stepped out a whole other realm. Tell them a little bit about how you are using the TikTok platform for what you do.
Oh, yes. So, TikTok, a lot of controversy. People have a lot of issues. People have, it's good, bad, and it's different, but it's what you make it, right? There are a whole lot of age groups on TikTok. It is not like, the Snapchat where the younger folk hang out. Facebook, I'm not going to say only older people hang out there, but there's different age groups. TikTok is a mixture. I put up one video that I thought that was important enough that needed to be viewed, and everybody connected. You're on my for you page. You're on my for you page. The video went really really well, but I'm finding that I'm connecting with people who are open and honest about their own situations. Some thanking me for what it is that I do, but I have a conversation with the things that I post. There's something that I do is hashtag honest moments. And basically there are honest moments. There are honest moments in the work that it is that I do. There might be something silly that I do, but I've been able to have open dialogue with people from around the world. Now, my intentions and my content are strategic. My content and my intentions are where anybody can just have an open dialogue, an open conversation. But the response has been over the top. It really has. And so I've been able to do a whole lot of sharing who I am. I'm sorry. I've been able to do a lot about sharing who I am. I've been able to ask questions. There have been other advocates, and we joined together. We did a don't rush challenge, but using what it is that we do as advocates. Each of us speaking about a little bit about what we went through as survivors, and we put it out there. So, although it's a new platform, it's a controversial platform. I make it that I'm accessible. I make it that I'm human, and it's been great. The great response. I didn't expect it at first, but when you're intentionable, and when your intention is about making sure that your content is open, that you are willing to have a good conversation and getting back to everybody, and make sure that you put out good content, relevant content. And again, it's blowing my mind because I didn't think that it would go as far as it has, but I'm really excited because there are people out there who are reaching out and having a different conversation with different types of people. I'm meeting other great advocates. We're linking up an arm in arm because let me say to you, you know, can't do this by ourselves. There's too much that's happening in our world just without the C virus. As far as domestic violence and intimate partner abuse goes, the numbers will go through the roof, and we need help. Can't do this by ourselves. And I've been able to meet some amazing and wonderful people. I've also been able to help several people with the resources that I have. I've been able to help other victims of abuse. This is the interesting thing, and I'm going to end here. When you leave yourself open enough that, you share that I believe you, because that's all the victim wants is to be believed. Once you've built that trust, just in a few short moments, then they begin to tell you their whole story and they open up. And to be able to have somebody trust you with their lives in order to get them to safety, that had me thinking that this is where I'm supposed to be as far as training advocates so that when they receive a call or they themselves are able to get on TikTok and I can show them how to be open, how to, use their business, their advocacy as a business, how to be able to share with them, you know, some of the business behind the scenes that they don't think about, that the ripple effect of, okay, now my business is out here as a business, here's my advocacy piece, and I'm able to reach people in a in a very deliberate and constructive way. So there's many layers to this, and TikTok has, I guess, has been my testing ground, and it's working. It's working for me, for the connection. It's working because I'm sharing about my business, about what it is that I do. And so I'm receiving both the, advocates who are out there, and I'm receiving both, the victim or the survivor who wants to know more about what it is that I do. So for me, this platform is working. Every platform may not work for everybody, but I think the fact that I have 6 kids, I have four under the age of 25, I think because I have a household of kids has helped me even to do some of the things that I do, So, yeah, TikTok for me, and it's not for everybody, but for me, it's working. It really is working.
That is significant in so many ways because some of the questions that were asked, guys, were how do I build business relationships when everything is closed or limited? And will people, still be engaging this weekend? Will people still be shopping? Will people still be showing up? And what you heard throughout all of these ladies speaking today was that, yes, people are still making the connections. People are still doing the things that need to be done and making it in significant connections. I think one of the things that we forgot is that this year gave us a level playing field for everyone. Les Brown was using the same technology you're using. The organizations that you wanted to speak for were using the same technology that you're using. And so this was your in, this was your way to get in and do what was necessary. But some people press pause instead of pressing play. And that was why I wanted Thea to share what she's been doing on TikTok, because when she first went over there, she said, okay, I don't know what, I'm not dancing to none of these. She said, I'm not doing no TikTok dance. I'm not coming on here half naked. I'm not doing none of that. What am I going to use this platform for? And we had talked about it because we had sat down, and she said a major word that I want you guys um to take note of. She said she has a strategy. She has a strategy. We sat down and talked about what the platform looked like, what worked on the platform, how she could utilize the platform. She has a strategy, guys. And so, if for no other reason, when it comes to pressing play in your life, you need a strategy. I know some of y'all are like, oh, I don't want to try to plan out every step of the way, but you don't have to. But you can make a plan and execute at a high level. And I think each and every one of the ladies that came on today, and you'll even hear some more conversations this evening, because this is not just a one and done. We needed to have this conversation. You needed to hear that there were people who were just like you, who were trying to manage multiple businesses during COVID. There were people just like you that were mothers attempting to figure out how to manage motherhood and business. You needed to understand that there were wives who still had to look at their husband and say, okay, well, we got to figure this out because we still got bills to pay. There were people just like you. And whether you caught this broadcast because you know me personally, you're one of my clients, you're somebody I network with in the industry, however you caught this particular broadcast, I need you to take note. You are not alone.
Remember,
I
okay, you had have other stuff outside of COVID too. Like, okay, so my nephew committed suicide May 28th. I had to plan for his services. I had to pay for his services. So that means that I had to reach into money. And I share this, I have just recently, September, October, now November, each child, surgeries each month. Stuff is going to happen. And you've got to know that sometimes you got to pull back to spring forward. You have to know self care and all of that. You have to know that, yes, immediate emergency situations have to be taken care of. Those fires have to be put out. You have to recognize, can I put a team together real quick to handle that particular problem? Is it possible that I can, as my sister says, Roz says, resource that out? Can I resource something out? You have the mind of a CEO to stand at the helm and say, I can resource this out. I can go ahead and make a deferred plan, but you can step back and to be able to put things and people in position in order to handle some things. Granted, there are things that you cannot, resource out. You can't, maybe there's some things that you have to handle, but your business and being a mom or dad and having church life or church family and all of those things, stuff will happen, but you have the ability to stand at the helm to be able to say, I can get a team for that, I can resource this out, I need to handle that myself. So things happen, they do, but don't succumb and let it override you to the point that you're calling it quits. I so super wanted to this summer. I wanted to give up this summer. This was, and again, suicide, international rescue. I had a pinched nerve. I didn't have a feeling in my hand, surgeries, but I have to keep going. The mantle that's been laid in my lap, I cannot say no to. I can't, but I can resource some things out. I can recognize the things that I can and cannot do. Please don't be a superhero thinking that you've got to do it all. How much more effective will you be when you're rested, thinking great about yourself, knowing that you're going to make some mistakes? How great would you be when you know that, okay, I can build a team over here and handle that? Your ripple effect, which you throw out, you'll be able to catch more than you would just by yourself. But when things happen, recognize that you are at the helm and you have the ability to say yes, no, and work some things out. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but things happen that are out of your control. I didn't answer any of the things that happened to me this summer. And yes, I wanted to give in the towel. Oh, and this is the other thing. Good accountability. Oh, how can I forget that? You have got to show up for yourself with somebody who's been through what you've been through, who understands what you want, and then don't allow your coach or your accountability group to dictate to you what it is that you should do. Get in some good accountability. Oh my gosh. If I did not have accountability, I don't know where I would be. Honestly, good accountability. Shut all of that down. That's what I'm ending with. Good accountability. That's it. You've got
She
to
said,
answer
she
to
said,
somebody.
drop
That's
the
it.
mic.
That's it. Ain't nothing else to say. Not
You
for
know,
me
it's
anyway.
it's it's powerful that you said that. So, those of you that do not know, at the bottom of the screen is a bundle that I am doing pre-sales for. It comes out next Friday. It's called the Press Play Bundle, and it is the series that I did. It's the audio version of the series. You get each part. It's a 4-part series. You get in a ebook, a workbook to help you to press play throughout the end of the year and to be able to start 2021 strong. It's also there's some bonuses. And so one of the bonuses is, that accountability piece that Dorothea was talking about. We will be meeting up virtually online in December, so that way you can have that strategy session, you can have that power hour, you can have that moment to really say, I can make this happen. I can do this. I can go forward. And this is the thing, is I've heard the conversations. I know people are behind the scenes and they're frustrated. That's why I said this year it was no fluff, it was all action. No fluffy stuff. It was all action because I wanted to see you really succeed and really go the distance. And so with Thea, when she was speaking, she kept bringing up the book, The Ripple Effect. So what I am doing is I'm actually going to add that ebook to the bundle. Just because Thea has been bringing it up, and I know some of y'all are like, The Ripple Effect. I didn't even know she had a book titled The Ripple Effect. I know. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the bundle, guys. So that way you guys get that as well. So you'll get the press play strategy success workbook. You'll get the audio series. You'll get the meetup that we're going to be doing, and you'll also get the Ripple Effect ebook. And the offer for it is $45. You can get the whole thing. Go ahead. Like I said, it comes out next week, but it's only if you pre-sell it that you get the meetup information, and will be joining us for the meetup in December. So I'm excited though, because I think sometimes we just got to take it a step further. And so I love that the ladies that were on today have been taking it a step further in many different directions, and you've been able to hear that. And we're going to keep the conversation going, because I have some other ones that'll be coming on later on this evening that, can share some more insight into what business looks like during COVID. With that being said, Thea, let them know how they can find you online, and also if they're interested as an advocate to get more information, how do they connect with you that way too?
Okay, so on IG, it's LAD as in Victor, Coach. LinkedIn, LADV Coach. Facebook, LADV Coach. You get the picture. On TikTok, LADV Coach. So if you just type that in, I'll pop up. If you want to have a conversation about, well, I'm thinking about becoming an advocate, or I already am an advocate, but, let's be truthful, let's be honest, it is a passion thing. It is from the heart. Well, we do everything from our heart. We should be. But there's no actual money in the advocating piece. And not that we're out here looking for money for what we do from the heart. I want to say we need to stop thinking like that. So if you want to talk to me about becoming an advocate, if you want to talk to me about learning how to become a trainer, if you want to just have an initial conversation, you don't know where you are, go to bit.ly/talk with Thea. Set up a schedule. Let's have a conversation. And this is what I'm going to do, because this is Small Business Saturday. I normally charge for an hour just to have a conversation with me about some of the planning. If you go to bit.ly/talk with Thea, I'm going to give you 45 minutes on me just to say, let's hash some things out. Let's get some things straightened out. So just set up some scheduled time with me and we can have a conversation. If you are a victim and you need to have a conversation, you can also go to bit.ly/talk with Thea, just to have an open dialogue, and let's have at it. If you've got any questions, you know how to connect with me. I'm on all social media platforms as LADV as in Victor, Coach.
Oh my goodness. Thank you again, Thea, for joining us this morning. I appreciate everything that you gave us this morning. I know that some people were touched. They got that good mic drop from you.
I hope so. Get motivated. The year's not over, y'all. It's not over.
That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. This has been a phenomenal time. I appreciate each and every one of you that has come and spent your morning with us, but it doesn't end here. I definitely want to come and bring the conversation back to you guys. If not tonight, then tomorrow. Why? Because I know that this is the time for you to be able to launch, go forward, write the book, go back to school, whatever it is that you've been having on your vision board for 2020. 2020 is not over, and it is still, you still have time to accomplish great things. So with that being said, if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out the bundle, bit.ly/WVL press play. That is how you check out the press play bundle. And like I said, because Thea had been talking to you guys about the Ripple Effect ebook, that ebook is definitely being added into the bundle. You get the 4-part audio series, you get the workbook, and you get that as well. Oh my goodness, right? And then we also are doing, only if you do the pre-sales, you get to join us for a session where we'll be live on Zoom. It will not be live streamed anywhere, but we will be live on Zoom, and that is our moment to really go all in on finishing this year strong. I'm super excited and looking forward to seeing you guys do some phenomenal things in life and in business. Trust and believe you are not alone. You are not, I would sing, but I don't want to do that to y'all. We done had a great Saturday together. I don't want to end it on a sour note. But with that being said, I am out to these cells of your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out. See ya.